from cover to cover, providing fire support and generally trying to survive, it seems like a soldier's active duty in the field is never done. With that, in many of today's first-person shooters, we find that military movement is often fluid and fast. But now we ask the question, do today's best combat shooters accurately portray real-life military movement? SaberOps is taking to the course to show us the combat facts. All right, David, today we want to talk about maneuvering around the environments in today's top shooters. You took to the course to show us what it's like doing it in real life. Tell us about your experience.
Well, what we were trying to show today is the difference between running with and without gear, because in a lot of the video games, they'll have 3 or 4 weapons, a whole thing of ammo, extra gear, specialty items, all these things strapped on, and they run like there's nothing. Today we wanted to try me with no gear. Run it through. It was still difficult, but you know, I was moving. And then we threw on about 55 pounds of extra gear, and we definitely slowed down a little bit.
We timed you picked up about 13 seconds with the gear on. What do you think the biggest inaccuracy in gaming is in terms of the way they portray characters with gear?
What they do with a lot of this stuff is you'll show guys jumping out of 2-story windows, or they're jumping on a dumpster and then they're jumping from the dumpster on the ground, or they're sprinting and they're running people down. But the more gear you're carrying, the slower you're going to be. It's just a reality, and you have to really be careful about your steps, because what it does is it makes you top heavy. All your weight's up high, so any little trip that when you're not wearing anything, it's fine, you can just recover. But when you're wearing that much gear, you know, you could really lose your crap. Basically the way they train us, if you get attacked, you drop all your extra stuff and then fight. In these video games, you take it all with you.
All right, so Dave, we've talked about speed, but what about safety with all of this gear?
Well, in video games, the player's weapons never change. It's always there. Whether they're jumping, crawling, swimming, their weapon's always where it needs to be. In real life, you gotta know where your weapon is, know where your muzzle is. And as you can see, when I was climbing out the windows, you really have to worry about where your weapon's going, and you have to always be aware of where it is. In the modern day combat environments, it's not like a firing range. It's 360 degrees, so you don't have a safe place to point your weapon. The only safe place to point it is down.
That sounds like a lot of today's military games make maneuvering fun, but not necessarily accurate. So tell us, is this combat fact or fiction?
Definitely combat fiction.
Well, there's another combat fact. For more, head online to gt.tv.